My name is Dawes, and I'm a medic. Firmly put on my helmet, facing the battlefield filled with gunfire. I didn't choose to retreat. Instead, I ran straight into the chaos. I returned to the battlefield and saw Japanese soldiers finishing off the survivors. Suddenly, I heard cries for help coming from nearby. Without hesitation, I crawled right over. Then I used sand to cover my buddy's exposed body completely. After that, I hid myself under a corpse. Japanese soldiers passed by all around me. Suddenly, one of them stopped. He stabbed his bayonet into the corpse, but he missed me. Once the Japanese soldiers left, I immediately dug out my comrade and dragged him out of the ground. When I went back to the battlefield to rescue more men, I spotted another surviving soldier. The moment he stepped out, the Japanese saw me. I had no choice but to hide in a tunnel. There were tons of Japanese soldiers patrolling inside, but I managed to avoid them all. Suddenly, I came upon a wounded Japanese soldier, but I didn't kill him. Instead, I took out gauze to stop his bleeding and gave him a shot of morphine. By night, I finally found an exit out of the tunnel. On the battlefield, carefully checked every soldier's pulse, terrified of missing a single survivor, lowering each man down. It took a huge toll, but there were still so many wounded men who needed saving. I dragged my exhausted body back to the battlefield again and again, lowering the wounded down the cliff time after. Even though my hands were bleeding raw, I couldn't stop. I kept saying to myself, please, Lord, help me get one more. When the captain saw how many men had been rescued, he couldn't believe his eyes. He asked the wounded how they got down. They said it was Dawes who saved them, the same Dawes they used to look down on. The next day, I saw my sergeant. I walked up to him and picked up his rifle. Using some cloth, I made a makeshift stretcher and had the sergeant lie down. I dragged him out under fire, facing pursuit from the Japanese. The sergeant pulled the trigger and took him out. When we reached the cliff, I sent him down. Then with a wounded man on my back, I jumped off the cliff. The Japanese chased us to the edge and fired him, but my buddies drove him back. All the soldiers made way for me, their eyes filled with respect, looking at the comrades I'd brought back from the battlefield. I didn't feel proud or happy. Instead, I felt guilty and helpless for those who didn't make it. But I'd done everything I could. Then we were preparing for a second assault, but nobody would move out. They were all looking at it. The commanding officer called, demanding to know what the holdup was. The captain said they were waiting for my prayer. They'd come to believe in my faith. They knew that on the battlefield, only God could bring them home. Everyone headed back to the battlefield with determination in their eyes. The enemy was driven back step by step. It didn't take long for the Japanese surrender, but the crafty Japanese were only pretending to surrender. They threw 2 grenades. I quickly swatted one away with my hand and kicked the other one off, but the grenade exploded. I was hit with shrapnel in both legs, but it wasn't life-threatening. In the end, all the Japanese soldiers were gunned down. We had taken Hacksaw Ridge. I was being carried away for treat. Before I left, I held my Bible tight as my brothers carried me down from Hacksaw Ridge.